Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to TKKN and Buff Save the Universe, episode number 55. It is
Woo!
Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. I'm Chris Adams, the Tekken Master, joined by.
Buff Larkin. I got a question for you before we start all this stuff. I know we've
Okay.
started it. Da 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 da. Anyways, let's pretend you're a professional wrestler. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, what would you name yourself?
I don't
You
know.
know you've answered.
I
Yeah,
don't
don't
know.
give me
I
that
don't know.
baloney. Okay. Well, you can't be the
I would
gentleman,
just
Chris Adams,
use my
because that's
name.
already
I
named.
don't know what I'd call myself.
Uh, you'd be the what would it be? The anarchist, Chris Adams. That's what I would call you, because you always like the anarchy and the chaos. Down with the government,
That is
and
not
there
accurate
you
at
go.
all.
Yep, yeah. So, anyways, so you get hired on by the WWE to be a wrestler for their organization, and they have their big event this weekend called Crown Jewel over there in Saudi Arabia, and so hey, I make a lot of money going over there. You're all set to go over because you're the anarchist, right? And so but then all of a sudden you hear that Iran might attack Saudi Arabia at any time. Would you still go? And including, they're saying an attack is imminent as of in the next couple of days, and in the next couple of days is your wrestling show at in Saudi Arabia. Would you go and do it?
I mean, sure.
You had a good life. That's fine. You had a good life. That's good. Okay. Anarchist. Anyways, so this week we're going to talk about video games, things that Tekken will never want to play in his whole entire life unless it's cut down to half price. Why he is disappointed that in Batman, and also we will talk about comic books from eBay and all that kind of other kind of crazy stuff. But first, let's talk about Tekken's love for Resident Evil 4. He doesn't care about the bell tower, but I sure do. How'd you enjoy the game, Tekken?
Um, Well, as I said on Twitter, it's still great, even if the controls feel a bit dated. So I'm looking forward to when they fix it or improve it or just use what was used in uh, 5, 6, 2 remake, 3 remake for the controls. And let's see, what else did I say? Yeah, I haven't played the Ada side stuff, so I would like to finally check that out this time before I move on to something. Well, I guess I'm already gonna move on to something else, but just while I'm currently playing through this again, I'm gonna try to do the Ada side stuff because I've only done like the first stage on separate ways, but I've never gone beyond that. So I'd like to see what else is on there.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to challenge you a bit on this one. You said the controls are a bit dated. So, what would you change to bring them up to 2022 standards?
Well, well, it's not. Well, the thing is, like, it's like a control slash camera issue where the right stick doesn't really do anything if you're because you use the left stick. The left stick is independent in your character movement, and the right stick controls the camera, but it doesn't really. You can't use them both at the same time, and I mean, you can, but it doesn't feel like a modern
Right.
game smooth and like correct.
Yeah.
It feels a bit jank. So that's what I would fix.
Well, first of all, watch your language. All right. This is children listen to this show. So I don't want to hear you using that kind of language. Number two, you said jank. And so that's what I mean. Anyways, number two, you mentioned last week about Resident Evil and how you had your first three games of Resident Evil were different from the second three, four, five, and six Resident Evil, and then everything kind of turned back. Do you see that if they continue on with that premise, that the next three games after that be going back to more actiony, or are we looking at they gave it a shot, four, five, and six, they made it more actiony, they had fun, but people really want to go back to the scares that were the first three did, and then therefore the three-part trilogy. 7, 8, and 9 did.
Mm, I mean, I think you kind of touched on it when you with like what you just said. Like they have like these three parts like trilogies going on. Um, I mean, if you don't count Code Veronica X, since it's not a numbered one, even though it is part of the core or the flagship mainline series. Um, it's like they could go back to actiony, but I think most of the fan base is pretty much turned off of that after six and doesn't want that. And they also have like they have enough spin-offs that they can do that in those games. They've got the Revelations. What was it? Revelations? Yeah, Revelations 2. So they can, or like they have like the co-op actiony type, or more actiony, less, or like it still has like the horror elements and like Survivor horror tropes. But 7 and 8 really dialed it back into the whole scary, claustrophobic, atmospheric, just survivor horror classic style, but with like modern graphics and modern gameplay design and you know um, what's that word called, sensibilities. So I think with after 9, if they do another one like that, I don't think they're gonna be more actiony. But like that being said, I'd like to see them revisit the characters in the storyline that they did end on in 6, because that was kind of a we were going somewhere and then we just dropped it. So that's always annoying. So and then like I can never get enough of Leon and Ada. So that to me is just like I was going to tweet about that too. It was like just it it just it gets me. It makes me swoon of like will they, won't they, and just like it's like a weird. It's one of the very rare instances in video games of just like a weird relationship, and like you're always like, oh man, this, or like for me personally anyway, I'm just like I'm invested in this and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my answer to that.
So here's my question for you. Resident Evil, like we mentioned, the first three games were more, you know, uh, well, you can
Stop
explain it
saying the
better than
first
I
three
can.
games. Three was kind of a
I'm just
departure.
using an example. Don't worry. But then they changed it up for four, right? Also, it was a brisk
It was kind of already. I mean,
departure.
it was kind of already going in that direction with Nemesis though, because I mean, it was the same like survival horror style, but it wasn't as, or it was like it was even more actiony than the previous two. So I mean, that being said, I mean, I haven't played Code Veronica X, but I imagine it was it like brought it back to the scary claustrophobia survival horror style versus 3 and 4.
Okay. So, and okay, so we get into 4, 5, 6 more actually, and then they kind of turned it back to being what it was. Can you recall any other franchise series that did something like that, that started one way, changed, and then went back to its roots?
Ha. Well, that's the funny thing is like I think this is something where I always talked about on Aimless is like it's like there's so few games that can have a longevity beyond just like one trilogy or something. So it's like there's not even probably a lot of games you can say have like 4 entries or more. Um, I think Assassin's Creed is kind of like that now because they have 2 games coming out, 2 or 3. Like one's in the classic style of like the first few games where it's more about assassinations and the sneaky, stealthy, open worldy stuff. And then there's another one coming out that's more like these bloated AAA open world, soulless, empty grind
Mhm.
fests, which is what it's ballooned into with all the bloat. So I mean, Assassin's Creed is like the most recent one from memory. Um, okay, so you're saying like any game that has like a bunch of entries that like did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Final Fantasy is kind of like that now because after 13, I believe. or just it just seems like it's been getting more actiony with like if you look at 15 and then 16 is like a complete like or like if 7 remake and like 16 are just like complete breaks with like the ATB turn-based style. It's kind of still there at least for 7 remake, but for 15 and effing 16, those are way different than classic style. They're I would say it's like a similar to 12 where I mean 12 is kind of based on like MMO combat, but it's not like the traditional archetypal JRPG style combat. So definitely a break from that. 13 was it was 13 was like a lot of new different ideas, but it was more in the line of turn based and ATB style, but it was also more actiony. So I would say Final Fantasy as
Well,
well.
yeah, absolutely. I'll give you that. Because if you remember Final Fantasy 9 and 10, and was it an X2 or whatever it
Oh yeah,
was?
10 and 10 too. So good.
Yeah. So that was a grand departure from what Final Fantasy was. Would you agree with that?
What 9, 10, and 10 too?
Yeah.
No, 9 is like effing Return to Form, a classic style, and then 10 and 10 2 are just
Yes, sorry, I got okay,
more
yeah.
more of the old style, just with the at the time the like best graphics you've ever seen in your life, and voice acting, which was amazing and brought it like so far into the future when they added that. Or I guess not so far in the future, but just like it was such a game changer to have like the voice acting. It was just like so cinematic, and added to the presentation. So yeah.
Okay. Right, I guess when you talk about franchises that have been long in the tooth, I guess you'd say they've been around for a while. They do have to change their style to
Mortal
stay.
Kombat. I guess maybe Mortal Kombat as well, but only with like the most recent entries. Like after, I'm trying to think. Let's see, because it was 2D for like the first three, and then four was 3D. I guess they never went back to 2D, did they? So that was interesting. That is the thing. But the more recent ones they become more cinematic in their story presentation. Um, and they've gotten like way more complex in the mechanics as well. Like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say like way more complex, just different and more nuanced. But still, it's like I guess they're like 3D characters on 2D plane versus like what they were doing with four and Deadly Alliance and Armageddon and Deception. So they kind of like combined the different styles of what they were doing with like the graphical style and the presentation of like on a 2D plane. But then they've added so much as far as like the story stuff, and then the mechanics have just gotten so so crazy and like so much stuff. But it's still like just the same basic 1v1 fighting. So that's kind of neat that they've been able to evolve. Like I think it's like 30 years too, because there was like a 30-year anniversary tweet that they put out or something. So it's been a long time with that game. But that's another one that's been able to change over time as well.
Exactly. Okay. So, what else have you been playing?
Valkyrie Elysium, finished that. It was pretty good. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Beat 'em
You
ups.
weren't, you didn't like that.
No, I didn't say I didn't like it. It kind of got. I mean, I
Repetitive.
played it and I was like, I can see why this genre died off because it's just the same thing over and over, and it's like, after like if you're playing it and then like you're hour XYZ in and you're just like, I kind of think I'm good. I don't want to play anymore. It's like, ugh, just it's like this is like the newest one. And it's like, mm, I don't think I really want to keep going because yeah, if I'm just pushing square for like 5 to 6 hours or however long until I finish the game. I mean, there's other stuff to do, but it's like I can just get by hitting square over and over. So, but even if it's not, the same thing. I like it's just a combination of like hold square or hit square this way or do this with square or hit X then square or just it's like it's very simplistic gameplay stuff and it's just like oh I think I'm good after enough time with it and it's like I think I don't really think I can play this genre for a prolonged period of time anymore. Or at least when like other stuff exists that's like similar but just so much better. It's not even close. Like the gap between them is like they're not even in the same like solar system. Like Devil May Cry, 3D action combat games versus like 2D brawlers. It's like it's not even a it's not even close. It's not even close. It's like I'd rather play DMC or Batman Arkham stuff than the 2D Turtles or Streets of Rage or X-Men 2D games. Just I mean, graphically, I do like the pixel art style, but it's just like beyond the graphics, like the gameplay just isn't there. So maybe someday someone can like do something. I mean, Shredder's Revenge is kind of like that because there is a lot of stuff you can do, but you don't need to. So I'm trying to think of
It
if I played on easy or not, because I might have just been not playing on easy because like I don't care, I'm not trying, but I don't remember. And it's like whatever. It's like I'm not gonna like play on a harder difficulty just to like make it harder on myself. That's not why I play games.
yeah. You
Because
want to
other
play
games,
just
it's
to
like other. I mean,
play.
like, or not other games, but like the 3D action stuff. Like there's the different enemy types. You actually have to do other stuff to like break the shields or whatever. When they introduce like different types of enemies, like heavies or enemies with shields or enemies that have like whatever that try to grab you or throw stuff or just and like that was Insurance Revenge, but it just didn't seem like it was as essential to use your different attacks. You could just get by with the basics for the most part. And it was kind of broken because you could just keep doing this thing where like you get your super attack back and just spam it and like constantly be doing it and it was like like if you had 6 players in, it was just like constant chaos, but just not really challenging. And I guess there's that too. Just like there's a difference between like challenging and like too easy to where it's like not fun or just boring. And like that's kind of like where it was at. So it's not like it's a bad game. I just didn't enjoy all the things that it didn't do good. Not a complaint. That's an observation. So yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, my next question to you is you've been playing that and you're playing Resident Evil. Now, you've done both. So, what is next up on your plate?
All right. So it's November, which is like usually when
Game month.
yeah when like all the big releases come out or October, November around there. But like this time of the year. Um, so God of War is coming out. Effing Tactics Ogre. I already pre-ordered. Cannot effing wait. Tactics Ogre Reborn. That's one of my most favorite games ever. Gonna just cannot wait to crack out on that. Um, so there's those two. I've already pre-ordered Tactics Ogre. I'll probably pre-order God of War after I get paid this week. And then there's the new Dark Pictures anthology games, which usually come out in October because they're horror, scary season games. But this year it's coming out in November. But whatever, the devil in me. So I'm checking that one out, or I'm getting that one. I'm picking that one up too. And then New Tales from the Borderlands came out in late October, but I haven't seen any reviews or coverage of it, so I have no idea how good or bad it is. But I do enjoy those games, but I'm not sure how much of an involvement Telltale had with it as far as like the collaboration they had before with um, Gearbox, or if it was just mostly Gearbox and not a lot of Take Two involved or Telltale involvement. So I'll probably end up playing that, but that's not like anywhere near the top of the list at all. It's just a game I will probably play that is out right now, versus the other uh, three I just mentioned, which are definitely play. And then I'm trying to get through all those games because next month in December is the Final Fantasy.
Midnight Suns.
No, not that game. Next, next Buff. Next month in December is the effing Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake, and I'm looking forward to that because I played it on PSP and I liked it, and then I got like to the very end and I didn't finish it, and I just never went back and finished it. So I'd like to finally finish it this time, and also just because Final Fantasy VII remake is out and it's hot, and it's like that game ties into it perfectly. So looking forward to it. And just Square Enix right now is just kind of killing it on their release schedule and like what they've got for the next 12 months. They've got Crisis Core, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16, a bunch of. I mean, they've got like a bunch of like their AAA stuff is good, and then they've got like a bunch of mid tier, not quite AAA but still like decent JRPG stuff. Like they've got Star Ocean that just came out, a new one. I don't care about that series anymore though. Um, and then F and Valkyrie Profile and Diofield Chronicle, which I picked both of those up, and they're both pretty good. If you're into JRPGs anyway, like if they're bread and butter, the stuff they're putting out, they're making really good. Their bread and butter to spread on your sandwiches of fun are is very good right now, and they've got the stuff by, I think he's just like producing. I don't think he's involved in the product or the that much of the development, but the Voice of Cards games by Yoko Taro. There's like three of those out, and they're only like $30, I think. So I'm waiting for a sale so I can get them all cheap because I'm cheap. So and like I didn't know they'd like make so many of them, and I mean they're not related, but it's like dude, I don't want to play one and like not play all of them when there's like a series. So that's just how I am. So um I'm probably missing something in Harvestella, but I'm not interested in that game because it's just like a gardening and adventuring, dungeoning. It's like a weird hybrid game. Oh, the Rhythm is back, and it's got like, or it's not until next year, but like it's in like the 12-month window I'm talking about here because they've got a lot of stuff coming out and it's all looking pretty good, and they must have been like, man, Capcom, we can't just let them run away with like being the best Japanese publisher out there. We got to try to compete here and get some of that money that they're making off of this stuff.
That's right. So what games have come out? We'll get to the Batman in a second. What games have come out or were announced to come out but now have been delayed? You know this. You know more about the games that have been delayed.
I mean,
What
there's only one game that's like been announced that I haven't heard anything about. It hasn't gotten delayed, but there's been like no new info for it. So it's supposed to come out this year, but there's just been like nothing, and that is Little Devil Inside. Because that was supposed to come out this year, and it was even in the state of play of like stuff that's coming out this year, and like there's just been no new info for it. So I'm kind of worried about that one, but it's a smaller indie game like Stray was, so I'm not like, oh no, it's the end of the world because it's not coming. It's like it'll be here when or it'll be out when it's out. I'm not too worried about it. So,
okay.
but really for the most part, as far as like big up and coming stuff that's been delayed, there's not really been much on that front because nothing I'm looking forward to has been delayed. So,
So, um, let's talk about Gotham.
sorry to
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you, Buff, but like also just like one last point on like the whole like since we're like at the end of the year, but like 2023 is on track to be like one of the best years ever for video games. It's like there's a thing that people say sometimes. It's like the years that ended in eight, like 1998, 2008, 2018, whatever. Like they all are like really good game release years. So it's turning out to be one of those ends in 8 years, but it's not an end in 8 years. So it's like, oh man. So there's a ton of awesome games coming out next year. It's gonna be great.
Which is very weird because lately people are saying there's not a lot of games coming out for the new
Well, I
systems,
think
right?
the thing that happened was like COVID, like just messed up production on everything. So it like just messed up all the development times and everything that was supposed to come out, and then everything got shifted back. And then like now that everything's like somewhat back into like or not back into what it was supposed to be, but just like everything's getting back on track to a certain degree, and then it all lines up to where it's all coming out in 2023. So I think that's what happened.
Okay. So, name me the top three games that you just mentioned that you if you had to, okay, so you had a whole list of games. Your top three games and the rest you would never
Whoa,
play.
whoa, whoa,
Never
Buff. Time
play.
out, time out, time out, time
Never
out. Because
play.
there's stuff I didn't even talk about because it's next year and
Well,
we don't have a release
then
date
they no,
for.
I'm talking about between now and the games are coming out between now and the end of the year. Let's start with that.
Okay, now in the year, three games: Tactics Ogre, God of War, um, Crisis Core remake.
Okay. There you go. That's good. And now out of the ones that were left behind that you'll never play in theory, that you'll never play in theory, what is one that you would substitute right now? I give you a chance to substitute one game out of the pile that you didn't pick to take out from one. What would you do? In fact, I'm going to force you to take one that you didn't mention and put it in and take out a game that you one of your top three that you just mentioned. I want to put you to the test. You won't do it, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, in my air quotes I'm doing right now, take a game from the not playing pile and take one and put it in.
Okay,
Which one would you take out?
I guess it would be New Tales from the Borderlands because the only reason I'm not playing that is I forgot to pre-order it and it had some like bonus currency and I'm like, well, I'm not effing. I don't feel like playing full price for this if there's like bonus currency I didn't get and I don't know how it's used in game. So you can go after yourself on that one. Gearbox.
And so, what are you taking out?
Oh, am I taking out?
Yeah, you got to take out one.
Hmm. Well that's weird because it's like I guess I'll take out God of War honestly because like even though it's like probably gonna be good, it's like I've already played the other two games and I know they're gonna be good, and they're just remakes of older stuff, and it's like a known quantity, and it's like I already know I'm gonna enjoy it. That's why I'm buying them again. So it's like okay, well just the other two I know are gonna be home runs. So why would I take a risk on something that's not gonna be guaranteed?
How much have you heard about God of War?
I haven't heard anything, so I'm not looking up any info for it. So, because I want to be just surprised when I play it the first time. Just
Okay.
like the first one. Or not the first one, but like the last one. Since I'd not really played any of the God of Wars. Or not finished any of them. I'd played them, like, some of them. Or just like, it's one of those games that had like a bunch of entries, and I always want to play from like the first to the last. And I'd not played the first one. And then therefore, I kind of missed the bus or the train on that series until the reboot. And I was like, okay, let me just start from here then. F it.
Okay. So speaking of Ephraim, let's talk about Gotham Knights.
Wait. So like, was that all the stuff that you wanted to say? Cause I interrupted you. Was that like what were you gonna say?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Back to
I
Gotham
wanted
Knights
to
then.
I
So
wanted to
there's something
force
I
you to
was
make a
there's something I was gonna bring
decision.
up about the whole like game releases, but if you want to talk about Gotham Knights, we can talk about Gotham Knights.
We can come back to game releases, but I don't want you to throw all your venom out before you talk about Gotham Knights. So let's talk about Gotham Knights.
I haven't
This
even
is a
said
game
anything
that
bad. I'm saying like how excited I am for games the next year, and like, oh yeah, taking all your venom.
well, it only takes a snap of your fingers for your
This
full
is true.
blown
This is
ripping something
true.
apart.
It
So
is. It
trust
is
me,
just
I've played enough Fall
instant,
Guys.
instant fury
Listen,
and
pal.
rage.
Listen, pal. And as soon as I hear that, I know there's going to be a volcano of rage coming out. Ooh, stop grabbing me. All right. You know something, buddy? Yeah. Anyways, let's get to Gotham Knights. Is this truly okay? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna ask another question. What was the most disappointing video game you ever played?
Okay, I don't know if I can say like ever, because like the only I would say the two that stand out the most like would be Arkham Knight and Cyberpunk. But Cyberpunk isn't like not because it was bad, just because the technical issues, dude. Like it kept like it was just it was unacceptable the state that game launched in, and like I had like it crashed over 30 times over the course of me playing it. And I loaded my save file the other day and I have like 100 hours, and I was like, dude, I can't believe I like suffered through that just to like or like the state it was in. But then it's like I guess that's because I enjoyed it or like I wanted to finish it. But then whatever. It's a CDPR, so they do good stuff. But that game was like that was an abomination. The state that game came out in. Arkham Knight was just a disappointment because I was like, dude, it, yeah, just effing Batmobile and like lack of boss fights, or just coming off of effing Arkham Origins with everybody, okay, not everybody, but like I feel like the majority of people poo-poo Arkham Knight or effing Arkham Origins.
Poo
That's my
poo.
favorite in like the quadrilogy or quintology of like the Arkham games, and the fact that it doesn't get enough, in my opinion, as much respect that it deserves is just like so annoying to me. And then like Arkham Knight, yeah, it looks good, but like effing, and okay, it plays good too, but it's like the story and like the scenario doesn't even come close to like City or Asylum Origins. It's like it's not even close. And it was just, it's just, and there was like so much stuff that they like did too late in that game, like the effing Season of Infamy or whatever, and just the DLC came out like way too late, and it's just, it was just a giant effing mess. And yeah, just whatever.
So sweet saying that, saying that, you've been waiting for this game for God knows how many years. You heard all the details. You got all excited. Now you're coming up, and then you start hearing the bad stuff coming out, and the frames per second, and everything else. What is an acceptable frames per second a game can offer you that would make you say, "I want that game"? What is your necessary frames per second?
I don't have a necessary frames per second as long as it's a stable running game. But then if you look at Gotham Knights, it's not even at like a stable 30. It dips below 30 sometimes. It's like that's not even you know. So I guess it would be like 30, like solid, no dip, or not no dips, but just like it doesn't. It's consistently at least 30, and like if it has like issues where like sometimes things happen on screen or there's a lot going on and it like maybe has a frame rate drop or whatever, just that's fine. It's like honestly, as long as the game's not broken like hot trash Cyberpunk 2077.
So what was and I don't know if you probably know this. You're a man who loves your games. What was the frame rates on the Arkham Knight and Arkham City?
I don't know, dude. It's probably 30.
Okay,
It could have been
probably
60. I
30.
honestly don't know. I think the
Well,
thing with
I doubt it.
I think the thing with Arkham Knights is that it's on, PS5 and Xbox Series X. So the expectation is it's going to be,
Yep.
you know, these consoles that just came out that have top of the line graphics, they should be being pushed to their limits, and they're not. And it's like, well, what the f is this crap? Like, this is this is
Yep.
not what I was wanting from my games.
I give you full points for that. Full points. I've been giving you negative points this whole show, but I give you full points for that. Is that you have a new system. These guys have the console. They know what is expected. They should be giving you the best quality they can produce. This, from what I'm hearing, is nothing but you poop on your hand and you throw it at people and you hope they like it. That's what I think this is.
I mean, a good example would be if you look at Spider-Man, like both Miles and Spider-Man on PS5 or whatever, and like Insomniac has done such an awesome job, and heck, even Spider-Man 2, I'm sure is gonna be like amazing, and it's similar because it's like it's a superhero open world game, and they've got amazing quality benchmarks for it, so there's that, and then I haven't played Marvel's Avengers, but I don't think it's too bad on the performance level. So it just it just suffered from the games of service um hell design that is that type of game. So yeah.
So you are going to wait until it drops to half price.
I mean, I might pick it up like during Black Friday or around the holiday season if it's like discounted, but I mean, I have no reason to. I've like got plenty of stuff to play, and it's like, well,
Right.
I've kind of already made up my mind about that game because it's like it's a Batman game without Batman, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who whose idea was this?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like if
Exactly.
I want to play a Batman game, there's plenty of other Batman games because you made effing 4 or 5 of them, and they're all better than this trash. So why not just go replay that instead of play? It's like I can play Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight, and they're all better than Gotham Knights. So yeah, I think I'll just play that. I
Okay.
mean, like unless like miraculously like the four-player co-op mode that was held back after launch, which was another red flag, is like super duper fun to play with your friends. But you know, that's a whole. But then but then that turns into like, why couldn't we have had that game of like a four-player hero game where you're in Gotham, and that's the game. Instead, we have a
Now, just
two-player.
imagine if you had a four-player online. Just think you'd be jumping on over all the bad
If it
guys. You'd be
wasn't,
flipping and flopping, and I'd be like dying every 2 seconds.
I mean, yeah, it's probably. I imagine it'd be balanced though, and it'd probably be funner
Who
than
would you
Shredder's
be?
Revenge. So,
Okay, so we're having a four-player co-op, whatever it is, and you have first choice, and you have first choice of what hero do you want to be. You can either be Red Hood or Nightwing or Robin or Batgirl. Which one would you go
well,
for?
not having played the games, I don't know whose combat
Oh, come
style.
on.
I mean, that being said, I would probably be Nightwing or Robin. So yeah.
There you go. Okay, there you go. I can go with that. All right.
What?
Now, I would like to say a couple of nice things about what is happening on the PlayStation Store and what has been brought to the store this past month, and that is Dragon Quest IX. Oh, and
What
the
are you
best part
talking
that
about? Dragon Quest Nine has already been like. What? What are you talking about?
I know, but they just put it out that you could play it, you can stream it and play it for all those people who got
Oh, you mean the
the five
above
star
the
special.
effing? Where's my controller? Where's the effing controller on this stupid effing tiered, stupid effing three effing branches of effing plus now? Upgrade. Where's it at? Premium, extra, essential. So yeah, the ones that are above effing, I think essential because I think essential is base. I can never remember because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Extra, yeah, premium and extra, or premium. I'm not sure if it's on extra since who would be the middle tier? Like that's whatever. Effing Jim Ryan, f that guy and him and his effing like. That's a whole other can of worms. But like the sooner he is like not the head of PlayStation, the happier I'll be because in my opinion, he's been doing a terrible job. So I can't wait until they replace him. So yeah.
So there you go. Now, I like the fact that you can actually play it the way it was created, or you can go to the 2D model and play it. It is. I want to give it a try. It's on my list of games to play.
So you haven't even
But
played it, even though they added it.
I did. I played the original, and I got my platinum on it. So I did play it, good sir.
Oh,
I
so you're
bought
talking about
that.
the
This
essential edition that they have.
no, no. It teases me that I
What?
haven't played it as yet. It teases
What
me.
are you talking
It says,
about?
come play it," and I'm like, "No, I got a job at I'm a banker now. I
But you
can't
just said
play
you
it all the
played it.
time." I played it way. I played the
I
original
mean, this one that you're
way
gushing
back.
all over, dude, and it's like all you're gushing over is like one thing that they added,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's not
pretty
even
awesome.
whatever, whatever. Continue.
Yeah, yeah. And they have a bell tower in that game, and then you shoot it. Anyways, so I'm very excited about that because yeah, you're right. It's one thing, but you know something? It'd be fun to take a modern game and then they tweak it to go back to the old school. Isn't that nice? I like that. I love the idea. It's a nice little tip of the hat to the past. Will people take advantage of it? Probably not, but I sure will because it's fun. So yay for me. Yay for me.
That's called a
There you go.
demake, and they don't exist.
A
So,
demake.
I
You
mean,
just made
I
up
guess
a
they don't
name.
not exist, but like there's I don't know why there aren't more of them, but there's probably a reason why for that. So,
Yeah.
because there's
But
that
I
part
like
in Metal Gear Solid 4. Have you played it? I doubt you've played Metal Gear Solid 4. So that's why I'm
no.
asking. But there's a part where you go back to like the first
I
area.
appreciate you asking me though.
There's a
Even though you knew the answer. I do appreciate you asking.
there's a there's a
You know,
part
I appreciate you asking.
there's a there's a
Hey,
part
Buffy play this game? Oh wait, yeah, no, probably not. There you go.
there's a part where you go back to Shadow Moses as Snake, and then like for a second, it goes back to PS1 graphics, and you're walking around, and it's like, oh man, this looks like 20 years ago when the first game came out, and then it like flashes back forward to like modern, and it's super trippy, but it was super awesome. And of course, it's Kojima, so of course that's like he's he knows his stuff, and it was a great use of it. But I don't know why that's a thing as far as not not a lot of games do that. But yeah.
Okay. So, uh, and so let's talk about Midnight Sun, shall we? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So you told me that they're going to bring Deadpool as as a DLC, not right out a game launch, but in a couple of months they're going to bring down Deadpool as a playable character in the Midnight
I mean, I
Suns.
don't know if it's at launch, but it's in the season pass, so it might or might not be if he's the first character in the season pass. So, whatever. Why? What about it?
Well, I want to get your feedback now that we're now a month away from that game.
What do you want? What do you want me? What would you like? Okay, what do you want me? Like what? Like what about the game would you like me to talk about?
Well, I
Because
want to
I'm
know
not
how much
playing it, and I don't. I can care
you're
less.
not playing it. What happens if they come out with it? Just humor me on this. They come out with a 9 out of 10
Okay, and I can just
with
wait
it.
for a price drop. That's basically my SOP at this point. Is like if I'm really looking forward to it, like it's super duper rare these days when it's like, oh man, a game came out, I didn't pre-order it. Oh, but like it's getting these hot reviews and everybody says it's awesome. I guess I'll play it. It's like that usually doesn't happen. Elden Ring, don't play those types of games. Didn't play it. Hades, don't play roguelikes. F that garbage. Not gonna play. I mean, I'm not saying the game's garbage. That genre specifically, that genre specifically of roguelikes is like not my cup of tea. I mean, if it comes back to Game Pass, I'll play it just because like everybody lost their effing minds about it. But it's like at the time it was on Game Pass, and I was like, do I want to torture myself and like possibly like have as much fun as I would be if I took a grenade and just like put it in my pants and took the pin out? No, I don't think I do. So it's like you know,
I'm
it's
sorry,
like
I came into this conversation halfway through, especially when you said you want to stick it in your pants and pull the pin. Can you explain that again to me, please?
I'm just saying my roguelikes to me are just like as fun as like blowing myself up with a grenade. But you know, effing it's like if it's like a game of a genre I just don't care about, I'm not about to be like, oh man, I gotta check this out, or oh man, I really want to play that. And then like I've seen Midnight Suns and no thanks. So yeah, I mean that I mean like I said, like that's like mostly like 90% of the time. Like if Gotham Knights had gotten like nines and tens, I probably would have picked it up. But it's like it did, so it's like that was just me looking at that game, and then like the stuff that they said about it before it came out. I was like, oh, frame rate's not that great. Oh, our four-player co-op mode's not coming at launch. It's like red flags and a sense of mid AAA energy. I think I'll stay away from this game until it's getting good reviews, or just see what happens after launch. Because I'm getting a bad feeling about this one. I think that's the thing though. It's like you know after after you've like been alive long enough, you can like sense these things, or like you can, or like you've had enough. You've been around the block enough times to be like, I've got a bad feeling about this. So yeah, as they say in Star Wars.
You've been around the block? Well, that's good to know. Thanks for letting
That's
me
an
know.
expression, okay? Like
Oh,
what other
okay. Yeah,
expression works
no.
like that of like you've been around a long
Been
time?
been around the block. I don't know. Very good. Anyways, let's get back on the topic. Uh,
Or we're talking about Midnight Sun, so that's the
Midnight Sun.
topic.
What would you rather play if you're forced to at gunpoint? The
Gun.
new Batman game, Gotham Knights, or the Midnight
Oh,
Suns?
Gotham Knights, dude. Midnight Suns just doesn't look.
Okay,
It
sorry.
doesn't look. I mean, it does not.
Gotham Knights at full price, and you'd have to pay for it, or Midnight Suns 90% off.
I'm still gonna say I mean Gotham Knights just
You'd pay full
because
price for Gotham Knights and only 10% price
you
on
added that
on
after the first effing stipulation. I don't care because like effing Midnight Suns doesn't look like XCOM. It's
because
like
like you said, you're a cheap man, so I'm trying to appeal to the cheapness in your heart. I figured you'd go 90% off Tekken. Come on. You're gonna find that in the Walmart discount bin, and you're gonna say, "Ooh, ooh.
No,
You
I
get
won't.
ooh,
I, why would I say ooh over trash, dude? That wouldn't happen.
ooh.
It's like, ooh, I want
Midnight
to play this
Sun.
garbage. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Doctor Strange.
It's like, dude, I
Mm.
think Marvel's kind of cursed right now. It's like they haven't had any good video games. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, but you know, it's like they have. I mean, Miles, Insomniac, but like, yeah, man, it's like, what the f is up with that? Like, you would think it'd be a good or like an easy slam dunk, but apparently not. As Gabe Newell says, games are hard to make. So much for that.
Fine. Fine, be like that, Tekken.
Be
Be
like,
like
what?
that. Be like that. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's fine. That's all right. So,
I'm just
anyways,
saying the game doesn't look
so
fun. So
so
pass.
who's gonna win the big main event this weekend? And we'll finish off with this because we're close to my bedtime.
Okay, well,
I'm old.
before we do that, I just wanted to
Okay.
say
Oh yeah, you want to
earlier
talk about the releases?
about like
Yes, thank you.
2023 effing. I kind of don't remember what I was saying, but like, oh, Buff said something about like my top three of like this year, and it's like, dude, there's like so many games next year. I could have like a top three of next year. In fact, I do. It's like effing Final Fantasy 16, effing Yoshi P on the helm of the flagship of the series. Cannot effing wait. It's gonna be awesome. Um, Starfield. I'm just hyped for it because it looks good. I mean, not because it looks good, but it's like, it's my effing cup of tea. It's my wheelhouse. It's effing, kind of makes me sad because I'm like, man, what if Bioware could make a game like that where it's like just space exploration out there in the space doing space stuff, and there's so many planets and XP and skill points and leveling up and conversations and dialogue and space pirates and space cops, factions and stuff. And I mean, that being said, I'm not usually a big fan of Bethesda games, but this time I'll see. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they've kind of given too much away. They gave away like the whole like main like story beat in that 1E3 trailer. That was a bummer. But yeah, still looking forward to it 'cause it's very ambitious. So I hope it succeeds. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield, Spider-Man 2, because effing Insomniac has been killing it and has like not missed for like a while. So high expectations there, and just like it's like, and I'm not gonna say there's a lack of like good games on PS5, but sometimes it feels like there's a lack of good games on PS5, and like have something coming from first party that is as good as Miles was, and it's not like just a smaller experience like that one was. It's gonna be like a full fledged, big meaty experience. Looking forward to it. But yeah, those are my current top three for next year. So could change. We'll see what happens.
Well, there you go.
Okay, before we were saying about this weekend or whatever.
I don't know anymore. I just wanted to hear about
It
you.
wasn't going to be
Oh,
about
this
Crown Jewel.
weekend. Okay, who's gonna win? Logan Paul or Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns, dude.
And you think he's gonna do some kind of flippy flip and then Roman catch him with the spear and that's it?
I don't know. Just I don't think it's gonna. It would just seem super random for like Logan Paul to win at a
Yeah,
foreign pay
right.
per view over the current
Yeah,
champ. Just
exactly.
saying.
That's okay. So who's gonna beat him?
Who's gonna beat Roman?
Yeah,
No idea. Maybe
Cody
Sammy.
Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
WrestleMania. Cody's gonna win the Rumble. That's when he comes back at. All right, and then it's simple. He beats Roman at Mania. Life goes on from there. There you go. That's my prediction. Pretty simple, but people get on board with it. That's for sure. But who would win between the anarchist Chris Adams and Roman Reigns? Is my question. Because I know you'd fight dirty. There'd be a low blow for everybody, so that's good. All right. Anyways, that's it for me. Besides the fact that I bought a comic book from eBay
Oh yeah. You
this
said
week.
something about eBay and comics at the beginning.
Yes,
What
I
did you say?
picked up I picked up a Jonah Hex #2 from 1977. It was a 9.6 grade out of 10. and I got a very good deal for it. Thank you, eBay, for giving me $20 off my purchase to promote friends. So I took advantage of that. And I'm one step closer to attacking because I had to open a mailbox in the United States so that I could have it delivered. So now I have to go to the Americas and pick it up. Luckily, I'm only about an hour away from the Americas, so I'll be just go over there, pick up my comic. There's a comic book show happening in Port Huron that weekend in November. So I'm going to go over, go to the Comic Con, pick up my comic, and then head back home. And that's my plan. Isn't that nice? A well thought of plan, a well thought out plan
Sure.
for my good friend Tekken. That's right. Well, I tell you to buy me the comics. You could buy them for me, but you won't do it.
I'm not. That's dude. That's way too much effort to like buy something and ship it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Trust me. You Americans are making a mint off of people like me. I say, like, the best part is you get one of those graded comic books. Let's say Spider Man, or no, like say X Men with Cyclops on the cover, right? And so they say, oh, here, $25. You can pay $25 for the comic, and it's like $35 for shipping. And it's like, you bastards, you American bastards, making mint off of me. I don't think so. And I say, good night. That's it. And speaking of good night, say good night, Tekken.
You're not gonna say you have a bedtime or whatever you were saying before we started.
I am an old man and I'm tired and I want to sleep. So,
Okay,
yes,
there we go.
there you go.
So yeah.
I have Fall Guys tomorrow night and I want to get my rest. That's what I'm trying to say.
What will resting help in that game?
Well, the way I play, I might have to go in a coma. That helps me. Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, that is it for this episode of Tekken and Buff Save the Universe. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends or not. That's cool too. I think I don't usually put that in the outro, whatever. My brain is scrambled because I did a vlog yesterday. Um, so yeah, until you see or hear from us again, uh, the universe has been saved by the power of our friendship, and we're
The
now
power of friendship.
signing off.